Hi, my name's Ben. These are my friends, and we're going to teach you how to change a tire today.
Okay, so if you notice you have a flat tire, the most important thing to do is definitely safety first. So what you're going to want to do is, if you notice you have a flat tire, drive slowly and pull over somewhere flat where you're out of the path of any other cars coming and where other cars can see you. What you're going to want to do when you get out of your car, like first you're probably going to want to notify a family member or a friend to come help you. And after that, you're going to want to put on your emergency brake and your hazards so that other cars can see you. And also, you're going to want to open your engine and put your hood up, just so cars coming around can see.
The first thing, once you know that your area is secure, you're going to want to gather all of the tools that you need. One thing that's going to be very important is your driver's handbook owner's manual thing, because that's going to help tell you, if you don't know how to change tire, it'll give you a refresher on where to put the jack and where to do things. So we're going to go to the trunk. Some textbooks. Now these are really helpful because in the case of this demonstration, this is the tire that we're going to be changing. So when we jack it up, the car is going to be angled and it's going to want to tilt back. So to keep it from tilting back, we're going to want to brace the back tires with something heavy. If you have blocks, that works. I don't, so I have some textbooks that no one uses that we can do that for. And then we're going to want to get out our materials. So my spare tire is in the back trunk. We're not actually going to get out the spare tire, but here are some materials that we need. First off, we have the jack. This is used to prop up the car so the wheel gets off the ground. We'll use that in a little minute. This is a jack handle hook thing. This will end up being hooked around this. That will then turn to raise the jack. And this is a tire iron. It has a dual purpose. It's used to remove the lug nuts, and then it also fits into the handle to help turn and raise up the car. And the last thing you might want is a floor mat, because you're going to be kneeling on the ground and the ground's hard and you don't want to bring up your knees.
Okay, so when the time comes around to actually change a tire, you're going to use this shifty tool right here and loosen the lug nuts. Keep in mind, you don't want to take them all off, just quick loosen. So you want to start at one, loosen, and then if it's too heavy for you, you can just step on it. Yes, put your body weight into it. Boom. Okay, so we draw a circle. Leave one in there though.
So after your lug nuts are slightly loose, the next thing you're going to want to do is use the jack to raise your car, but before that you got to figure out where to put the jack. And if you look in your owner's manual, there should be a part that tells you where. So you definitely want to refer to that. And when you actually put the jack under the car, you want to make sure you're putting it on the metal frame, not the actual body of the car, otherwise it's just going to damage your car. So once you find that, and then for this part you want to be careful that you don't put your legs just don't put your body parts under the car, because if anything happens you don't want to get hurt. And just make sure you're out of the way. If your back's facing traffic, just make sure you're safe, in a safe place.
So when it comes time to put the jack underneath the car, make sure that this little loop hook thing is facing outwards, because that's what you use to actually turn it. And we're going to put it under here. Right here is the actual metal frame, and it's where the owner's manual told me to put it. And we're going to take the jack handle and we're going to hook it through the loop right here, kind of. And then the tire iron actually fits into here as a handle, and then we can just raise it, which is kind of hard to do. So you're going to keep jacking up the car until the tire is fully off the ground, and then you're going to remove the handle and the tire iron and loosen the rest of the lug nuts.
Alright, so if you actually take off the tire, you want to take off all the lug nuts, and then take off this tire, and put on the next one. But since we're not doing that, we have just 4 off. And then you're going to put the lug nuts back on there.
So when it comes time to actually put the lug nuts back on the new tire, you're going to want to go not in a circle, but in more of a star pattern. That way, all of the lug nuts get tightened and doesn't move the wheel too much. Make sure that you're not going to want to tighten the lug nuts fully because you can't with the wheel off the ground. And then when you have your spare on the car, it's not meant to be driven like a normal tire. It's only meant to get you to a mechanic shop so that you can get an actual wheel replaced.
Okay, so once you have the lug nuts all slightly tight and back in place with the new wheel, you're going to want to take your bars again, put them together, and lower the jack the same way you raised it. Alright, once you got the jack fully lowered, you can take it back out, and you're done with that. And now the next thing to do is just tighten up the lug nuts again all the way.
Now, you gotta tighten the lug nuts in a star pattern.
So once you've tightened all the lug nuts, you guys probably want to double check to make sure that they are in fact all tightened, because the last thing you want is to be driving on, a car that doesn't have fully tightened lug nuts. And just remember that the first place you want to go when you get back in your car is definitely the mechanic shop, so you can actually get a real tire instead of a spare, because this spare is not meant to last you forever. So since we're done now, we're going to clean up. Very important to make sure you get all of your parts back in the car in case this happens to you again. And you probably want to put the books back in the car that you used to prop the wheels with. And one last piece of safety. If at any point in time while you're doing this, you get stuck under your car or the jack falls down and the car kind of falls back down, absolutely do not try to continue working. Make sure you call someone, alert someone, so that you're safe. And once the area is secure and everything's put away, back down the trunk and lower down the hood, and you're all set. And that's how you change a tire.